wasn't this one shampoo working? So I started studying the skin, studying what it needed, and come to find out through years and years, you can do it with raw materials and you can do it with knowing how the processes of the skin work and knowing how hair and coat help keep the animal healthy. You could actually do a lot topically that we've never seen before. When I first started, people would just be like, get away from me, whatever, go wash your dog. I'm like, no, really, this is helping, this is working. And I believe that it takes the burden off the body when you feed it topically, especially if the dog is going through something with an internal issue. You take the burden of giving nutrients to the skin and the hair, and you just can feed it that way, and it can look beautiful, and then it relaxes, and then you can help it be better internally as well. And it's still, you still provide them with veterinary medicine, everything like that. It doesn't take away from that. It just makes the dog feel better. And if the mama or the papa can see the dog is feeling better, that's better for everybody because it reduces the stress of it over time.
Mm.
So that's basically what I did. I worked for ISB when they first came into the country, and it was distributed by Lyndon Baxter.
You
And
are
then
talking about Yves Saint Bernard, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
And then I started working for Cliff Favor, and I developed his whole grooming department because he didn't have a grooming department. And I was already consulting with the ISB, so I went to Italy to take some courses and really got attached to the brand, really got attached to the people. One of my beautiful, lovely mentors who was the hardest on me is Monica van de Ven.
Hmm.
She's so crazy, and I love her so much. Um, so she was pivotal in my journey in learning how to do this. And then eventually Cliff took over the distributorship in America of that. And then we went our separate ways. He had to sell his, he didn't have to, but I mean, he wanted to move on from just being a veterinarian. And I wanted to move on and do other things. So we decided that it was best if we part ways. And here we are. We've developed, separately. But I remember, I think I have the video of him when we did an advertisement for Channel 3. There's a whole lead in. He used to call me a liar. No, I couldn't grow hair on skin and I couldn't do this. And I prove it over and over and over again. So we have that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Wonderful.
Yes, you absolutely can. It changed my life for the better. It healed me in ways that I can't even say. Working with dogs, um, I don't think I could have survived some of the things I went through without having those as companions and being able to fix them. In fixing them, I fixed myself, basically. So it made a huge difference. It made a
Mm.
huge difference.
That's such an amazing story. I had, I came up from I came in industry, and I came to this day from the ribbons and the shows, and
Mhm.
serving like high end clients in the confirmation show world.
Right.
And before that, my life was also around veterinarian medicine. And
Mhm.
I was the best student in a high school, and I enrolled. I enrolled veterinarian university. I was there for a year, and I actually, when I slowly went through understanding that actually veterinarian medicine is not around, it's not built around the animal well-being as much as is built around the public safety. And
Mhm.
oftentimes that confronts
Mhm.
what we are allowed to do and what we cannot do, because it might impact the lives of the people.
On
So,
top of being very soaked in Western medicine. So they
yes,
treat the symptom and not the issue, not the problem, the root.
yes.
Yeah.
But for example, my biggest challenge was on the beginning of the university and study, when we were learning about animal welfare within industrial farming
Hmm.
environment. Those two, like, those two does not go together. Like, those are two opposite things, especially from the way in which they're taught in a university. So everything that we learned there was just confronting my love for animals.
Mhm.
And at that time, I still had a lot of support of my mother and my grandmother that always taught me that if your gut tells you it's wrong, it's wrong. No matter how hard it's going to be to move away from that, it's wrong. You don't need to have logical explanations. You don't need to have a logical answers. You don't have nothing. But if you trust your heart and you trust your gut and you know that you're at the right place, move away from it. And that's what I did. I withdrew from my dreams to be a veterinarian when I really looked beneath it, beneath the surface. And as you said, like dogs saved my life, especially in early childhood when I was doubting my place in the world, within the family, within the environment, within the people. I just didn't fit in the people environment, and I had a suicidal thoughts a lot in my early childhood. What I can remember, maybe 10th, that toddler time, maybe before that time. And the only way why I didn't kind of act on those ideas was every single idea that saved me on more exploring those dynamics would be, who gonna take care about my dog if something happens to me? So that kind of like brings tears to my eyes, because later on my life gonna be dedicated to animals, but in some really different way. Because immediately after my school, I went to grooming academy in Budapest. I finished that because I'm kind of like nerd. I cannot work something if I don't know it best. And the only way to know it best is to find mentors that can take you through the journey you want to accomplish. And that's what I always, I looked for the mentors with like a magnifying glass, right?
But how amazing was that to come up in Budapest in the grooming industry? Has got to be amazing.
I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't know yet the language as I knew it later and learned it later. And that was only on a dog show, because I was working at the veterinarian clinic and we got an invitation to check the rabies shots on the local dog show that was happening in the city at the time. And when I was done, you check all the rabies shots in the morning because everyone is entering the field, the showground, right? And then the people do not enter with the dogs because everyone is still already inside. So I was walking around, and as I walk around, for the first time I see one woman grooming the English Cocker Spaniel, and later on winning the best in show of that show. But I was like amazed with this beautiful, like
symmetry.
Everything that was happening. The dog was enjoying it. The dog was laying on a table and she was brushing. And it was first time in my life I saw that someone can brush the dog. Like it's kind of like, you don't brush the dog. They live outside and they work. And why would you brush the dog? So this was like oh my God, mind-blowing things. And I asked her, can you teach me this? Can you please teach me this? She said, I don't have time, but I can give you a name of the school and the phone. And that was a Saturday. So I phoned the school on Monday. And the lady answers, and she said, I vaguely understand Hungarian. And she said, yes, we just started last week. If you can maybe make it by Thursday, you can still catch up with what they learned. And you just... So there were like 3 challenges. The money, the school was costing $10,000. 1991, Michelle, 1991.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? Then I didn't know Hungarian. My mom is Hungarian, and I did speak Hungarian, but not on a level that I was able to go to the school. Right. So on every logical level, it's a no. Then I didn't have anyone to live by, and I didn't have money to live there. But I pulled the circle. I said, no. I said, this is a God. This is a feeling. This is a calling of the heart. So I didn't stop that, not having money and not having time and not knowing language, not knowing anyone there to stop me. So when I run the school now and the people come in and what are the obstacles of them enrolling the school, I just cannot understand that because nothing stood in my way. If I want something, I go for it. No questions asked, and everything is just one point.
We're very similar in that way.
It's kind of like there is no obstacle. And I must tell you, oftentimes I was dreaming about it, daydreaming. I like myself, laying in a bed, watching in the ceiling, and just imagining how something would be better than it is, and how I can do this and how I can do that. And out from like hundreds of hours of stupidity of those movies that go and happen on the ceiling, here and there a sparkle arrives. And if I'm focused enough, I will be able, maybe not even to give them the wording at the time. It comes like a emotion. It comes like, oh my God, I feel something in this constellation feels like a solution to this problem, whatever I observe. And then if I catch there, the money is always the problem. No money, no time, no resources, no nothing. But then I never had that stop me from achieving anything in my life. And
that's the way you do it. I think no matter what you do, that's probably the way to do it. If you want to go into physics, if you want to go and be the best race car driver, if you want to go whatever, you find a way. You find a way to do it.
And after that, after I was done with the school, I came home and immediately I was dragged into a world of the professional show dog handling, because I was grooming show dogs. And then I would go with them, with the owners at the shows, and I would have these wonderful top knots on a poodle and everything would look gorgeous. And then they would just take a leash and destroy everything because the dog wouldn't listen to them. And I said, no, I didn't work on a dog so much.
Don't touch the head.
don't touch the head. And they were like, oh my God, a beautiful bear. No. So I fell in a trap of the ribbons and the show dogs and everything.
But it was quite lucrative for you as well.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it really catapulted you into the industry.
Yes, it was. And that later on helped me really get on the stage with the best people in the industry, like Frank Sabella, Peter Green, Marjorie Good. So those are the people that are leaving legacies in the world of the conformation dog shows, right? And then, as I was always attracting somehow, I was always having like a top winning dogs owned by very, very, I must say, rich people.
Because you were associated with all these teachers and mentors.
Yes. So that was my visa into that world. But
Right.
and then I was flown by the private jets, and then you are in that lifestyle of when I was traveling with a woman of one of my clients in Moscow, like entire floor of the hotel was bought by the husband, so two of us can have a room on a floor of 50 rooms. So and they would travel with the bodyguard. So that's kind of level of my clientele was. But then when you are serving such a high demand people, then you really need to provide high end service, and high end service always calls for an extra mile to provide something that other competitors just don't have knowledge, access, or whatever. Now I have resources, I have I willpower to learn. And I always had the support of my clients to do better, to perform better, to act better. And I was in this wheel, like a hamster wheel, for a while. And then 2015, I retired from the show world. And winning, that was actually, I won the world show title with my toy poodle that I handled at the time. But that show left a legacy to my life, because it says that the first runner-up was my mentor from Japan. So I said, you don't go better than this. And this is a time when you retire. And I was within the industry always, but I always went to the next stage from the top of the previous stage. So kind of like I achieved and then I moved on, and achieved and moved on, and achieved and moved. That leads, I have one passion in my life and one hobby, that's opera singing. And I was an opera singer for a while. I sang in the Serbian National Theater, where I met my...
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Where I met my wife, ex-wife, a baby mama, that I have a beautiful 2 children and 1 grandchild now. But, and then opera singing has one rule. You retire from a stage on a peak of your career. Because then there is no downfall. Everyone remembers you on a top.
Right.
And somehow I didn't, and so I waited for that time, and you cannot plan on that. So I did had, like, maybe after that World Dog Show was ended, I had maybe 2-3 months ahead scheduled shows. But I said no. This is it. This is the end. And then I opened my shops and started working with a shop and having a grooming shop. But then I understand that the world of the conformation world and the world of pets at home and the doggy parents and relationship that the pets have, it's two different universes. That's not the
So
same.
what was pivotal in your career to make you think, oh, here I've been lost in the lifestyles of the rich and famous, and now I have these pet dogs. What pivoted you to understand that, oh my gosh, there's work to be done in this field?
uh, because all my dogs that I groomed, no matter how long they took, sometimes you do a standard poodle for 5 hours to make a top knots and everything and beautiful shapes and everything. But the dog sleeps on a table. They don't have a problem with it. And now on contrast, I have a dog on a table that I want just to shave down because that's what they want. And here the dog is like dying on a table because they are so aggressive and they don't like it. So I was like, how that happened that the dog doesn't like to be groomed? How is this possible? Right? So that was a moment in which I understood the structured life that one high performing show dog have in order to build this physiology, to have that physiology be nourished by the great nutrients, to great nutrition, and then have provide a wonderful coat. The coat will grow, and then for me to perform my magic, the dog need to enjoy being groomed. So those things for me were normal. And
Yeah.
now I'm experiencing more and more anxious people and anxious dogs, and all of this is going on. And now no one wants to bait the dog and bait the dog every week because it's not good for the dog. Now you need to bait the dog once in a year and two times a year, and you need to put on them like apple cider vinegar because the shampoo is bad for the. I said like. What world?
What is this world? What is this world?
What is this
Yeah.
world? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like this is not happening. Like, can someone wake me up? And I had all of these clues, right? And I'm yet not able to implement them in the everyday work because no one is listening. Everyone is thinking I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So that was actually the moment when I understood that the dogs are outcome of their environment and their behavior is always the outcome of their relationship with their pet parents. And it's not to be doubted because, as you said, like we all want the best for our dogs, no matter how bad that turns to be. I mean, like pet parents are the same. Everything they do, every choice they make, no matter is it maybe requesting for the dogs to be bait once a year, they do it out from real love for that dog and animal, out from their level of the consciousness and understanding of the dog's need and the species appropriate care at that particular time. So and then I said like, well, boy, you won't be able to do this. This needs other approach. And then I actually started educating first students, and then the student become a full workforce that start educating pet parents. And in my home country in Serbia, like Pure Love and Harmony and brand Sasha Riess that I developed out from this teaching people, pet parents of the world, $1 million show dogs trade secrets, right? Is actually something that's of the great success because of the people interest. And in Serbia and in Balkan region, it's not as mainstream talking about holistic and integrative and trying to find a different approach to a holistic.
It wasn't here either, honestly. It
Yeah.
really wasn't. Everybody was in the mindset when I first started a million years ago. Everybody was in the mindset, well, let's get this bright. You know, it has to be one thumb. The pack should just kiss the jacket. This is blah, 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 all the things. Well, I came up from the other end, and all I saw was the dogs were just traumatized. And I wanted to gather them all. And most of the traumatized one also had skin issues. So those were my dogs. You know, that's the ones that I wanted. I wanted the ones that no one else could touch or didn't want to touch because they were icky. And I started working on those. And that's where I found my joy, you know, learning how to connect with these dogs, calm them down, fix their skin, and everybody's happy. And the more I did it, the more fulfilled I was. And then I started teaching other people to do it. They started noticing, like, hey, how did you do that? And I wasn't perfect. I started at ground level trying to learn about ingredients, trying to learn about, okay, I'll pour this into this and see what happens, and reading about the skin and the allergic reactions of different substances. So it just went on from there. So I just came up from the other end. And
Mm.
it's funny that we met in the same
It's same,
place
yeah, same
because
place.
that's where the work is. That's where the joy is, I think.
Perfect, because I for on the beginning I was like all obsessed with the presentation and the shyness and the showiness of the dog. And I must say, and I wrote a paper on this, like Price of
Mm-hmm.
Perfection, in which I was, now that all the people that can be kind of like emotionally hurt by what I said are not around anymore. So I can easily said about my job that I did, out of which the grooming is always, how can I say, the grooming is observed as a trade in which you hide faults. That's what you go to school to learn. Okay, if the dog
Mm-hmm.
is like this, then you do that. If it's not level, then you do this. But in a world of the conformation,
Mm-hmm.
that comes with a heavy price on a dog's
Yes.
well-being,
Yes.
because if you are purposefully hiding the faults that can hurt next generation of the dog, and the clients love that dog and they have money and they don't care about nothing, they just
They
want
want to
that dog to
win.
win, that's all.
They want
So,
to win.
and I must say, I wrote that paper and it was not accepted the way I wanted, because I was thinking, oh my God, now the people are going to feel encouraged to share their stories. But I had a couple of people that I know, that I own the papers that can, help this message get out. All of them refused to publish the paper because we
Oh
said
no.
all of this is true, but I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to participate in exposing this. So I
Yeah.
published it on my webpage, and if anyone wants to read it, it's on the
Mhm.
webpage
I
of
believe
my,
that I have read that
yeah.
particular article. That was very interesting. And it's interesting to see the journey not taken from me. I see that through you. You experienced all that and you went through all that, and still here we are.
Came
You
back.
know,
Yeah.
we came back to the dog.
Because the dog is a final destination, and that's what I said in our intro. It's kind of like, I think, like, if we remember why we came to this job, it's very, everything becomes like very easy, fixable. The burnout disappears, everything disappears, because the joy is in service the dog, but the
Yeah.
dog, not everything that other people think about the dog is. And that's kind of another topic that we need to, and probably we're going to explore, and maybe in the next episode, is kind of like exploring what the dog actually is, because
Yeah.
it's very easy to provide the proper care to a fish and to a cow and to a
Mhm.
horse, because we really understand those species inside out.
Right.
The modern science does not have a consensus about, is the dog domesticated or domesticated itself? So which direction we go, and what is a real dog? There is a couple of scientific directions, but the foundation, how much foundation means, that if you have a starting point A, that your journey leads to wherever, right? But it's
Mhm.
completely different journey than if your starting point would be a B, because
Right.
then that leads to another direction. And look
Yeah.
at us, we met in the middle, coming from the completely two different worlds. And
Mhm.
I was kind of going, down, because I said, okay, why this dog performs so much, and why they develop such a great coat, and why they behave perfectly, why they love to be groomed, because they loved it. And okay, what loving means, it's just loving it, it's not an emotion, it's a comprehensive feeling of all emotions combined in one. So
Mhm.
no emotion dominates. So that's why we feel so much in peace when in loved,
Mhm.
not when in loved, when loving, when we are loving and we are loved. So that's the whole point. Then being in loved with, or being in loved to. That
Mhm.
might be an emotion, but it's completely different difference in between which kind of hormonal structure arises from those two different things. And
Mhm.
when I started to explore, okay, why my dogs have this wonderful coat, and then this pet dogs doesn't have a coat because it wouldn't grow on a poodle more than like a couple of inches. Okay,
Mhm.
nutrition. Well, maybe, and that's how I started. I have manufacturing the shampoo line, because I was thinking, well, the coat and the handling and
Mhm.
all this about the shampoo. But then the shampoo can take you as further as this, and there, after
Yeah.
that, there is a lot of things that people try the same thing, but there is no result. And then, okay, maybe it's not a cosmetic can take you as long as certain point, but then you need to dive in
Yeah.
under the coat. Okay, what we found there, where it's a nutrition. So then our next line was not adding more shampoos and conditioners, was adding a supplement line. And then,
Mm.
oh, a supplement line. So now the people are having adding shampoos and conditioners and supplements, but still not getting results. And then we ended, oh my God, it's emotional entanglement. So now we are not anymore in a realm of cosmetic of the coat. We are not in a realm and nutrition. It's not even nutrition. It's an emotional relationship between pets and their dogs. And then if the dog is in constant stress, and not necessarily the stress is what we think it's a stress, because we need to put ourselves in the shoes of dogs to perceive the stress from their point of view. And if their dogs is stressed, no matter how great diet they eat, no matter how great environment they live in, they won't be able to utilize anything out from that. And then sometime we need to use shortcuts to approach the body. And your perception is amazing, because that's exactly what I figure out on the constellation that I had on the.
Well, if you
It's
think about it, a dog's whole being from puppyhood to the last day is survival. That's how dogs flourish in the wild. That's how they flourish. That's how they're mentally wired. Uh, they get together and they love each other for survival.
for survival.
And they're so close to humans. We love each other for survival too. And I think that people forget that. Everybody wants to talk about the dog, the dog, the dog, the dog. Yes, it's important, but we forget us too. The reason that we are so compatible in our social setting is because we are all needing survival. So we all cling together and we rely on each other for that survival. And once you realize that, then you can start thinking about, okay, the dog's emotions and how they react. They will work hard for you. They will go to death for you if you are part of their pack for survival for survival. And I think that people have really missed the mark, especially when I see a lot of the TikTok videos and the Facebook videos playing jokes on your dog, teasing your dog, laughing at your dog. They know that you're laughing at them. Dogs have they are in tune with the universe. They're in tune with the flow and ebb of energy and smell and all this data being transmitted through their everything, their eyes, their scent, their intuition. That's how they live. So when we have, oh, we're joking, we're making fun of the dog because of a funny haircut or because he fell or something like that, that erodes the trust. If you don't have trust with the dog, you erode it by making jokes and making fun and laughing at. And once they lose that trust, you have a dog that is not only sometimes shut down or indifferent to you. And then it's compounded because they then get, oh, well, he has to go to the trainer because he's not listening to me. He's not listening to you because he's learned not to listen to you. You are not to be trusted. There's a study that I was recently reading that they took a certain amount of dogs, 35 dogs, and they had a handler go in and get a treat. And it was great. And then they got the treat. Then the other person came in and they fumbled it and made mistakes. Well, the dogs didn't listen to that person because that person wasn't as efficient at getting the treat. Then there was another study, and it was compounded with this study, about the handler would come in and then point to the box where the treat was. And the dogs would go and get the treat and everything was fine. Well, the other person would come in and he would lie to the dogs and point to a box that didn't have a treat in it. The dogs never listened again. 35 out of 35 dogs. They're not going to listen to you if you lie, if you joke, if you make fun of them, if you treat them as less than. They're an important, integral part of your family. And anybody who would do that to their family, I don't know. There are families out there like that, but I don't know. I have made it my mission to make sure that no dog feels unsafe around me as much as possible. I don't make fun of them. If somebody falls, I don't laugh. I go there. Oh, did you hurt yourself? Are you okay? If you accidentally step on a dog's foot or harm it in some way, dogs apologize immediately. Immediately. So if you hurt them and they yelp, You fawn all over them. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And you check it and I apologize. That's how they react to each other. That's how they stay alive in the wild
Mm,
together. And when you start really going into the psychology and behavior of the dog, it changes you in such a way that you can't go back. You can't unsee it.
mm,
And so I've been in so many salons. My husband traveled for work. So I have literally worked almost in every state of this country. So many people clunking dogs in the head with clippers. I had one person say, "Oh, I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat if you don't start acting up or if you don't straighten up." So many things, or laughing at it because it looks funny for whatever reason. The dog can't help how it looks. That we all come out looking like we look. So people who say, "Oh my God, that's a funny looking guy," or "His nose is bigger, her hair looks weird," or whatever. So we are all, in a word that I am blossoming since meeting you in person, it's an expression of how you belong in the world. It's just an expression of those genes. And what matters is underneath the coat, underneath the skin, how you treat one another, how you become whole again. And
mm,
I think the more whole we become, and dogs can be a booster for that, is by treating other people like you would treat dogs and
mm.
treating dogs like you would treat your family. And
That's a
that's
such
basically where it starts.
such a nice way of putting things together, because the dogs are somehow, as you said, it can be a catalyst to this change, because oftentimes we do feel so entanglingly entangled with them, and we feel like that unconditional love is present and we can name it. I don't think so we need that prefix of unconditional, because love on its own, it's
Is
too,
love
it's love, it's already so much,
unconditional? That's
it's
right.
already right. But
Yeah.
you pointed out surviving mechanism, whatever they need to do to survive, and you that's such a nicely phrased perception, in which from the day they are born until their last breath, they have one task is to survive, into
Mhm.
blend into any environment that is presented and try to take the best out from it.
Yeah.
And we know that because oftentimes, how many times the people, the pet parents would leave the dog with us, and the dog instantly changes its behavior.
Hmm.
It's because now it's in a presence of the greatness of the different greatness, and the
Hmm.
dog gonna immediately surrender to the most trusting one in the environment, because
Hmm.
oftentimes they cannot trust their pet parents because they are in charge of them, because of this
Exactly.
anxiety. And we can also explore that, why we find ourselves in such a relationship to a dogs. But if I, as a pet parent, would start observing the dogs differently, as you say, once I see it, I cannot unsee it. So we need to bypass, transcend the coat and the skin, and go beneath, underneath, to understand why all of this expression took place. So why the stress physiology, the nutritional behavior, the coat as an expression of all of that. And
Yes.
and as a pet parent, as a professional dog groom, especially because we charge for those services. Other people need to go make their livelihood, out of which a portion of money goes to us. And our responsibility is to act professionally, to
Hmm.
be in service of an
Hmm.
animal in behalf of the pet parent. And
Hmm.
that's where nicely is pulled together that we need to think about our well-being of the pet, of the dog, animal, and the well-being of the pet family. Like
Hmm.
all these triangle is impossible to be done. And I loved when we were talking about what should we discuss on the first episode. It
Hmm.
all started with us, because
Hmm.
if there is no me, there is nothing I can do. So
That's
somehow
right.
being uh, selfish in a way that I want to go through the life taking what's mine and rejecting what's not mine, and knowing the difference in between the two is the highest value of one's reflection of the consciousness. I think being present in the moment and every single time made the rightful decision in between these two. Is this
Mhm.
presented an offer to me as a part of my journey, or this is something that just on my journey appears like a possibility that I'm able to take but does not belong to me. So how do I distinguish these two? How I can make difference in between? I learned a lot about that through the family constellation therapy that I went myself to. And the family constellation therapy is something that opened the door for me to understand the theory of the morphic resonance that we touched and we should explore a little more. But I want to bring it here because it's also very important. I never, ever met anyone in life of the professional grooming, dog grooming environment and setting that even briefly understood what I was talking when I said Rupert Sheldrake, morphic resonance, family constellation, until I met you. And then when I said, oh my God, like I don't need to explain because he already does know this. And I said, how amazing. So this all is just a journey on which we can build so much.
Yes.
Because
it's everything.
From the different perspectives, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think it's selfish at all. Just like when you are in a plane and there's turbulence and the things come down for oxygen, they always tell you put your oxygen on first and then help others. You have to be strong. You have to be calm. You have to be ready and then open your arms and then let all the love in. That's what you do. I see a bunch of people have classes on techniques and use it this way, and you can get them to do this if you do this, without ever addressing the self. You have to address the self. We have come so far and we're so civilized that we've come so far from being okay with each other and with ourself. I mean, we are living in cities that are gargantuan now by any state of means, by any measure. Yet we don't know each other. You know, how many of us don't really know our neighbor? You know, how many of us are on social media angry and lonely and scared and have questions, but we don't know how to connect with each other. It's that connection that's going to help us, each other, and then that will help with dogs. Dogs are there to help you connect. I believe it in my heart. They're made that way. You can't help but connect to a dog if you have any sense of reality whatsoever. Human beings need that also. We need to be softer. We need to love each other through whatever this is that's happening to us, because it's difficult and it's scary and it's weird. And a lot of us are lonely and sad. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way at all. So.
And the dogs teach us that's okay to be sad and find, transcend the sadness, because the reason of sad, and you know, in a family constellation therapy, we do not get rid of anything. That's kind of like the point of moving forward is integration. So the source of sadness becomes a source of strength. When a sadness gets a rightful place in its heart, and everything that came with its sadness, when transformed, not compressed, not no. The sadness has its rightful place in our journey, because it do contribute to for me or for us to become who we are today. And today is the most important part of our life. And if we live fully embedded and engaged in every single step of today, the future unfolds on its own. Not created, not planned, not in an Excel sheet, not in a dream charts and false illusion of happiness sold through social media and Hollywood, but through the unknown realm of future created with me, fully present in my decisions of today. Yeah. So that's what the dogs are actually teaching us, because dogs are 100% in the present moment.
All the time.
They have a sense of the future and the past, just in a sense of the experience. So they can put together, if I went through that and I find myself today in a similar environment, I can predict the future. That's why they are afraid. That's why they are anxious. That's where they every single time we pull their front leg, they pull back because they expect to get hurt by nail cut. So it's kind of like everything is there, and it's a part of the limbic system. It's a part of the physiology. It's confronted by the mechanism of survival, amygdala, hypothalamus, prefrontal cortex, And like in humans as well, once it's triggered, it's not anymore a willpower. It's a surviving mechanism. Because the dog is trying to make up and escape or to fight or to freeze within the environment that's already proven to be hurtful.
Yeah, which direction means survival? Which direction gives comfort? Absolutely. That reminds me too of a student that asked me a question before class. So they were all in and waiting for people to come in. And we were talking, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but she says, why does everything have to be so hard? Like, why can't people just be nice to each other? Why can't things just be this way? And I said, because we wouldn't learn. If everything were perfect and if everything we lived in Eden and everything was just given to us and everything was wonderful, how do you learn under those circumstances? You know, I know that gets a little esoteric, but I think we're going to do that on this podcast.
It's not esoteric
but
at
you
all.
have to learn. People learn by having that strife, by having those things in which we can make choices. And then we learn from those choices. Dogs are the very same way. And that is why we're so compatible. As companions. So,
I must put here, you're familiar with the mouse utopia experiment. So that's kind of when you have everything, and when we have everything and everything is provided to us, right? We don't need to become a creative to solve any problem, to go out from any disaster that's put in front of us.
Right.
We disappear.
The
mouse utopia experiment.
Sorry? We're meant to grow. We're meant
to grow. And if everything is provided to us, then there is no place for growth. Right. Because why would I, that's again comes back to principles of thermodynamics. Yes. Achieve maximum results with a minimum use of energy. And that's exactly what is a possibility of us to grow becomes a journey to a hell, becomes a journey to a downhill. And having troubles and solving puzzles is actually a life on its own. That's what makes us alive. And I think exploring this journey, and I'm so glad, I got a goosebumps and a couple of tears as well when I'm thinking about how great is this idea of bringing this podcast to life and going beneath the coat within the industry that is coat and beauty centric. And I think for that message to come and be explored by two people that came to the same point from two different worlds, right? Completely two different journeys, but asking the right questions, putting the right answers and looking deeper, both us at this point in which we actually pretty much whatever we talk about, we kind of agree on. And I'm kind of I'm really eager to see how this is going to grow into even a bigger educational platform for all pet professionals, because once we start looking under the dog, we're going to end up under the coat. We're going to end up seeing, or actually beneath the coat. That's the right word. Beneath the coat, we're going to start seeing, start meeting ourselves, because the coat is a mask, and in a grooming we mask everything, right? And once we start exploring beneath the mask. Right beneath the mask, then we see a dog and we see a mirror of ourselves in it.
Absolutely.
And that can be that
and
journey.
I think it will become a little bit esoteric. It may become religious at one point, but agnostically. But it has to be that way. We have to talk about it, because if it isn't talked about, then no one will know.
Yes.
And we won't get any closer to where we need to be. Like, we may disagree on some things, but at least we can talk about it and then find our way from there. I can't say that I would disagree. So far, so good. But I mean, we may come up with something.
Because I said, it's amazing when you can find someone willing to explore deeper, because we reached the point and now we are going deeper together, because maybe that's what we need from each other, is support, safe space to go deeper in unknown, right?
Yes.
Maybe this is as further as we could go by ourselves, digging on our own, and then reach the point in which we met, and let's dig together.
Mhm.
and we're going to
Yeah,
take you
until I
maybe.
met you in person, I couldn't talk to anybody about resonance or anything like that. I would say, "Oh, have you heard of this guy?" Or watch this YouTube of him giving his TED talk or whatever. They were like, "Okay, that was weird," and they would just move on. I was like, "Okay,"
Okay, fair enough,
but I
right?
mean, it's huge. It's
It
huge,
is
and this is
huge.
just one guy. There are a bunch of others as well. And
Yeah.
you take the entire doctrine of Taoism and Taoism and looking into your soul and all that other stuff. I think there was a study saying that they think they found the soul and where it lives, um, not in the nervous system, but in the limbic system.
System. Oh, limbic
It
system.
moves into the waters of your body.
Oh.
So I just found that somewhere. So I have to explore that some more. I thought it was
That's an
very
amazing
interesting.
concept. We can touch, because the whole point is, when I talked about um, veterinarian university, I ended up researching deeply about why is that happen, and I came to a point in which I actually understood how the meat production industry, big companies, corporations like Tyson, especially in 50s,
Mhm.
lobbied for the entire education system to turn and observe animals as non-sentient beings. So
Right.
that gave us a chance to build such an infrastructure around managing the growth of the animal, give them as fast as possible through the process of making the meat, and build as much as muscle as possible on the bodies,
Mhm.
and use as less as possible environments, kind of like occupy as less as possible
Mhm.
space.
Mhm.
So the bacon can cost a certain amount of money. So
Mhm.
answering the question, are the dogs sentient beings, cannot exclude cows and chickens and horses and pigs
Or
and
worms or butterflies or
anyone.
anything else.
So it's kind of
We're
like
all part of the same system.
getting to that question and exploring it mainstreamly and publicly is pretty much political and economical impact has it in, right? Because
Mhm.
once you understand that a pig has no emotions and a pig is just a factory for the food of people, and in order to keep that food and price of their products be cheap, so it can
Mhm.
impact the other economical change, because
Mhm.
it's not the same. Am I buying a bacon a day for $10 or I'm paying $50 for the bacon, right? It's not
Right.
the same. It's not impact to the
Mhm.
to the change of the economy. So
And look at their lives. Look at their lives. Anybody who has a pet pig will tell you they're some of the most beautiful
yes,
souls and gentle and intelligent and wonderful to be around. And that's everybody who lives deserves to live their life. However, I have reconciled with that because I know people who are vegetarian for that reason or vegan for that reason. And I understand that. And I can see where that would be a problem. But I thought about it deeply. I spent 26 years as a Nichiren and Shoshu Buddhist.
mhm. So you
And
you were
I,
practicing vegetarianism,
yes,
yeah.
for a long time.
Mm.
But I understand now that in order to survive and live in this particular reality, in this particular terrarium that we have, is absolutely everyone eats sunlight somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And the vegetarians, herbivores, they eat sunlight through plants, and the carnivores eat sunlight through meat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all a beautiful cycle. But I want, when I have something to eat that was sentient,
Yes,
I want that
to
animal
be,
to come from a life that was beautiful and wonderful for that animal.
yes,
And that is how it should be. The plants and the vegetables should be nurturing and nourishing and be as lovely as they can be, not some farm practice and they just get three nutrients to grow so they look good, but they're not really good.
not even tasty.
Yes, exactly. And you were a vegetarian for a while as
I
well.
was. I was
Yeah,
also because of this.
yeah,
After I studied this veterinarian study, I was like vegetarian, for vegan, vegetarian, in and out, like for more than 17 years, and I
yeah.
literally almost paid the price of my with my life with those decisions, and I was prescribed bacon because she said like no other, so not even butter. Not even other. My nutritionist said like bacon because it's gonna help um, uh, absorb some nutrients that I was missing, and my body was completely decomposing.
Oh my
They
gosh.
it ate its own muscle, So, and when it's nothing left, I was like skinny, but I was like I was like fat and bone only, right? And then she said that the only way to get you back on track and to become normal is that you, and then she said like do the carrots, but make the carrots or the beets and the cauliflower be be not baked, but it's not baking them, but
Steam?
fry them on a bacon. So do the bacon
Oh,
and then
so they can
release a
absorb
little,
the.
yes, and then fry them on it, and then eat that in a little pieces. And I was eating, and by eating them, I immediately vomited because I couldn't grasp eating an animal from that point. But then slowly, as I went through this, what you just said, I started choosing the pigs from organic farming,
Yes.
like a responsible farming.
They should be happy.
I went to and I took a pig from a village of my dad that was roaming around, and they just kind of like tested them later, and they was okay to be eaten. And when you see that that animal lived dignified life and achieved that through being killed in a second, with that dignified moment of okay, now it continues. And then I always like through my spiritual journey, I experienced that. And every single time today when I eat meat, I always eat it with a little prayer. Let your life keep living through my success and
Vitamin G,
happiness.
great gratitude.
Yes, with the gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yes.
Well, and think of this also. Here we have this beautiful leopard, this beautiful wolf living in its environment. What do they eat?
Other animals. They cannot. Yeah,
Are they any less? Or are they rude? Should they be vegetarian? They'll die. They have to have that meat. They're obligatory carnivores. They have to have it. Just like the lady who had a ferret and was trying to make her ferret vegetarian. Oh no, he's vegetarian. He almost died. They're obligate carnivores. They have to have it. They need taurine, and then you get taurine from meat. So if you think about it that way, are you mad at the leopard or at the lion or at the wolf or at anything that has to get their dinner by killing with their face? I mean, that is a hard life. That is a hard life.
And also, now that I kind of like, and I try to be very responsible towards life, and also kind of like now I raise my own chickens and ducks and geese for meat consumption. So I kind of like try to care for them and then be there for them when they become meat for me to eat. And that's kind of like closing the circle. And somehow that meat tastes differently because it's kind of like taken with respect towards life as is in service to something that we all serve to. And it was like very interesting to see how kind of like you can take a chickens and then while they lay eggs, then you have eggs and then you take a meat and you make it's completely different when you delegate that to someone else and when you do it yourself. I was doing it in my life. When I had a chicken farming. My family was a great chicken farmer, but we did it industrial way. And I never agreed with that, but it was part of my life. But now I have a completely different perception of how do I handle life and what part of the death is in it as an integral part of life. And we are all heading that direction, no matter how and when it's going to happen. But more fulfilling life we live and more dignified life we live, more better world we can create together. And that was my conclusion. My as you said, like sometimes we use religious beliefs or other beliefs, but it's always a belief that need to be until we do not pay a price. And I almost paid the price with my life. And then journey back to meat eating again was like long. Maybe it took me 2 to 3 years to fully be able to digest the meat without throwing out or having.
You didn't have any enzymes. You weren't producing the enzymes because it was repressed for so long.
Yes. But then, and it's also, I was very aggressive. So you would say like, oh my God, now I don't eat meat. I don't have this all of anger and sadness and everything in my life because all of that is kept in an animal when it's killed. But it's not as much as the way the animal is killed, but in a way the animal lived. That's a
The
whole
way
point.
it lived. Agreed completely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because when the
Yes.
time of those animals come to a slaughterhouse, it's not about the death. Those animals, the death comes like an escape from the miserable life. But what
Right.
we can see in their eyes oftentimes is, oh my God, I'm here about to go out there, and there is no more left. But I never experienced any joy in this little that I had, and that's sad. And that's always like we are coming back to how can we create this wholeness of us, in which every single one of us, human to human, human to animal, animal to animal, have its rightful place. That's not how can I say that, that's not based on any ideology, if that's even possible, but with the fulness of the embraced love from the bottom of the heart. And that's always that gut, and that was earliest lesson in my life, and well served me so far, and I'm 50 something year now. Always trust your heart and trust your gut, but know the difference in between a real heart and ego trip. That's always that's sometimes very very big. They might sound the same.
It just needs, you need constant vigilance.
Yes.
You just have to pay attention to yourself. And there sometimes you have to make yourself stumble on purpose to remind yourself that you're not that important in the scheme of things.
Yeah. So now
You need that to stay focused and stay structured.
This is an amazing,
grounded.
But that's again like amazing point you made. It's kind of like we are at the same time a center of the universe that need to be explored. As just you said, it's not about you. It's about me in service. That's the whole point. I-ness in service to you-ness, right? Because that's where the life is, in the service. But it's very easy to serve from a source because it's unlimited access to the unlimited potential and unlimited resources to be in service to the others. But if we are doing this job because it pays the rent, or as we oftentimes have to do it, oh, look at me, how great great dog groomer I am, how before and after pictures, this is what I can do, and I need money, I need to raise prices, I have a life, So it is about the I, but not wrong I. That's also very important to make that distinguish lie. Because we started this episode, it's all started with us. It's all started with me. But we must be aware, and we must really be sure who me is.
It's taking your part in the oneness of us all, in the wholeness of where we live. We're a closed society. I heard somebody say the other day in a blog, a historical something, some primeval water source was tapped, and they're getting fresh drinking water from the source. And somebody wrote, yeah, and then when they tap through that, then it's gone for forever. We live in a terrarium. We live in a closed environment. The water will still stay here. It'll still find a way to nourish us the way it has since we took our first breath on this earth. The water will stay. We didn't use it up and it's gone. That's not that kind of a resource. Now, we can use all the helium. It will float away. But the water itself will absolutely still come back. It will be rained down. It will be turned into snow and ice. It will melt and come down the mountains as always, until the end of this earth's time. And it's, if you think about all those processes, all those sweet spots and where we live and how we function and how everything came about, we just have to perform our part in the wave. If everybody does their part and loves everybody through the rest of it, we'll be better off every day, every second.
And the dogs are a catalyst to that change. Because we can learn so much with working with them, and that's something that our industry, I feel, needs to gravitate towards, because the answers to our own I can say end of our suffering within this framework that we actually created around us is when we start mirroring our true self, when we look at beneath our masks and allow dogs to be their own sentient beings under their coat. So
help them survive, and they will help us heal.
such an amazing closure. I think like this can be a perfect time for us to end this beautiful. What do you think? We explored a lot of avenues, right?
Yeah.
I think like it was like a nice journey. And
I think we're so anxious to have met somebody who understands what we're saying.
Yeah, I guess like I guess
easy.
Probably it would be, of course. So if you do not understand something, please give us a comment, write us a message. We're going to be very happy to answer everything. And also, as you see, we are taking you to the journey that's undescribable. I cannot tell you what's next episode going to be about because we don't know yet. It's going to come up from your comments, from our reflection. And I cannot wait for next Monday, Michelle, to keep exploring this wonderful journey together with you. Oh, do we have a comments too? Okay, we have a comments as well. Michelle. Hey, Sasha. Hi, Michelle. We have love for survival. Oh my God, there is a lot of comments here. You're so sweet. So usually we have all of these wonderful comments of support. And thank you. This is so good. Guys, you sound amazing, profound. Wait, what? Well, I don't know when this was, but maybe that was when we were talking about morphic resonance or animal eating or making chicken soup or whatever. That I don't know because I didn't moderate the comments. So maybe, okay, next time I promise we're going to moderate the comments. So thank you so much with everyone that was here tonight with us. And for everyone of you that are going to watch the recordings of this wonderful podcast on the platform. So it's going to be on YouTube, Sasha Riess Official every Monday, and it's going to be streamed on Spotify, and we're going to post it on our Facebook channels, and you're going to be able to find it much easier. So Mondays at 6 p.m. Central Time is that 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
And 4 p.m. Arizona time, because sometimes that changes, but it'll always be Arizona time for me.
Okay, so 4 p.m. Arizona time.
Yeah.
Until next Monday, I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you, Michelle.